Hi Taurus, this is your forecast for the month of February 2019. This is a general reading for Taurus Sun, Taurus Rising, or Taurus Moon. For a more rounded overview, please watch your rising and moon sign as well. So Taurus, you're starting February off with this dicey card that's probably going to mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. So let's start with the bad news first. For some of you, this is something to do with some kind of duplicity. There could be some outright theft. Somebody's trying to trick you. Somebody's taking advantage of a person or a situation. And so you may be dealing with something where there's something illegal taking place that may end up with the possibility of imprisonment with that last card. So there could be some kind of robbery or somebody being ripped off, somebody cheating the system in some way. For others of you, this is going to be a lot going on, a lot of coming and going. Maybe you have a lot of errands. You're going back and forth from one place to another. For some of you, maybe that's you're going back and forth to storage, or you're moving things in the garage or your office. For some of you, you're coming up with some kind of strategy. You're going to do something different, something unexpected, something that, you're trying to move toward your favor. For others of you, you want to avoid something, either a person, a situation, gaining some kind of notice. So you may be doing something under the radar. You want to be incognito about something. Maybe you're planning an escape of some sort, or somebody connected to you. For others of you, this is, futility in something. There's some ineptness about a situation. You may be running away from a problem, or somebody is doing that. So for some of you, maybe this is about seeking some form of restitution, whether that is financially, or getting some apology, or having something returned to you. This is a warning card. There's some kind of admonition taking place, or maybe there's some advice that was given that was smart, but it wasn't taken. So this is about looking at the week to see where you may be, in some cases, stealing from yourself by wasting time, wasting your effort, your talents, your emotions, your money on non-productive relationships. Whatever it is, this is going to be a week where you or someone close to you is going to be scrutinized in terms of their integrity or the quality of that relationship. And it's going to be a challenging week for you to get a handle on your emotions, because the more that you either care about something or the more that you dislike somebody, it's going to be harder for you to be objective and make your decisions. So for some of you, again, you are either overconfident about a situation, or you don't have any faith in it at all. So it's important this week that you're careful of your actions, your speech, that you take into account what other people say, and in some cases take it with a grain of salt. You have to be careful about what you say. Again, it may be a very contentious week with a lot going on. And so for some of you, this is a get out of jail card. This is an escape card. And so you may find that things that have nothing to do with you, you may very easily back out. It's easier for you to be diplomatic and remove yourself from a situation that has nothing to do with you. And this could also be a week where things come out into the open. Everything is put out on the table. Maybe you think somebody's not going to be upfront, or they're going to lie, or they're going to try to avoid you, and they actually keep their word, or they show up, or they tell you the truth, or they tell you like it is. So for some of you, this is going to be a surprising week. You're trying to attain something, perhaps some success, some recognition. And maybe, you're coming up with some strategies to do that. You may even be introduced to somebody that is helpful in an objective that you have. Somebody may play an intermediary, or you may be doing that. And that may go better than you expect. So you may look at your situation and come to terms with, hey, I'm not as far behind or as bad off. My situation is better than I thought it would be. And for others of you, you're going to have to be very careful with your possessions, with your health, with your safety. And, this is about something coming home to roost. Maybe something you said comes back to bite you in some way. Or perhaps if you were planning to get over on somebody, you're the one who ends up with egg on your face in some way. This is a week where it's important to be truthful, to be honest, to act with integrity. And it's also important about, looking at where perhaps you give your power away. Are you so dependent on a person's affection or what they think that dependency is somehow draining you, your own independence, your own individuality, and now you can't even stand up for yourself anymore. So for some of you, you're looking at, to stop struggling, to accept what is. Maybe, you're either avoiding something, a situation that you find problematic, or you're running away from something, or something has been taken from you, or you're coming up with a strategy. So again, this is a very complicated week where, it may be focused on that Hermit card. Somebody could be stealing information, or you're gathering information to come up with a plan. Now, the second week, you have the King of Cups. So this is water energy. This could be a Scorpio, a Pisces, a Cancer, Sun, Moon, or Rising, male or female, or just the traits of this king will be important. You may be seeking assistance, or perhaps you're avoiding that. This is a week that focuses on responsibility, protection, concern, getting some good advice. So you may be involved in some form of negotiation. You may be listening, you may be counseling, you may be comforting, or you may be on the receiving end of that. This king at his best is supportive of your interests. He may be a father figure. He could be somebody who is a trusted advisor. He may have connections to the spiritual or the artistic or scientific, some kind of helping profession. So for some of you, this is going to represent a doctor, a judge, a lawyer, a counselor, or again, simply a good friend. Somebody who's not afraid of their emotions or being intimate. They're willing to accept extra responsibility in some way. So this is a person who is sensitive, who's caring. And you may be having important discussions with this person where you feel comfortable sharing your innermost. So for some of you, this is some opportunity that's presenting through this King of Cups. Maybe, there's some luck on your side, or there's some possibilities, or there's some risk taking where you really need to be more frugal and tighten your belt because the possibility exists of some kind of theft or some bad advice. Now, negatively, this is a king who is deceptive. He may be playing a con game. There could be some power plays, or you may be trying to escape something where it's almost like a spider's web, some kind of entangling alliance. It could be some manipulation involved or some selfishness. Somebody is trying to vie for position or power. Again, it could also be escapism, getting lost in a behavior that's negative, an addictive behavior, narcissism, selfishness, alcoholism, drugs. So it all depends on who this King of Cups is to you. Whatever it is, this is going to be a week where you feel strongly about something. It could be you strongly want to form an alliance or escape from something. Something may be very complicated, may be very complex, and you don't find the relationship as fulfilling. On the other hand, again, maybe you want to connect with somebody that you feel is very supportive. Maybe this is somebody who's going to play the intermediary role. They're going to introduce you to something. But you have intense desires this week. You want to either impress somebody or improve your situation, or you're focused on defending yourself or even destroying a circumstance. And it all depends on what your mood is like. Now, the third week, you have the Four of Cups. Something is on offer, either in connection to this King of Cups, or maybe you're dissatisfied. You're reevaluating something, and perhaps you withdraw. You avoid a situation and you go into reclusive mode in order to sort some things out. Or on the other hand, maybe you're coming out of a rut. You decide that you want to get out there and be more social. You've been longing to have an emotional bond or connection. But this is a week where you may be missing an opportunity, perhaps because you're indifferent to it, or dissatisfied, or you withdraw, you're bored, you're caught up in your own circumstances, you're lost in your own thoughts. You could be looking at a relationship that falls short. There's an empty feeling. Something is missing, either from a relationship or a circumstance, and maybe you're not even motivated anymore. So you're taking a time out to consider what your next step is. Now, perhaps it means you step out there, you take a leap of faith in a person or a circumstance or even yourself. Something this week is going to find you at either one end of the pole or the other. Either you're feeling anxious, dissatisfied, you want to escape from a situation. Maybe you've even been exploited in some way. Or you're looking at where, you're feeling good. Maybe you're involved in a secret love affair in some way. You are looking at how satisfied you are and how fulfilling your circumstances are. So you may have a sense of well-being, and you may feel that you've got everything you need and you're avoiding problematic situations because you're satisfied with where you are in the game. This is going to be a week that connects the material with the emotional. And perhaps you avoid something because you see it in the long term. You have a bigger vision. You see the pluses as well as the minuses. And perhaps what's being put on offer is offered to you honestly. But you're able to look at something realistic. Maybe it looks shiny on the surface, but you can see deeper. And you know on some level that perhaps potentially it may not be for you in the long term. For some of you, this is about relocating. Maybe, you are getting ready to take a trip. You're broadening yourself somehow, mentally, physically, emotionally. You're seeking new horizons, or you want to get out of Dodge. You're seeking freedom. In some cases, maybe you're running away from something. This is a week that depends on where you are emotionally. If you feel good about your work, your material security, your relationships, this is a week of possibility. Things are on offer and you can accept those at will. But if you don't know where you stand, you're not on solid ground, you're uncertain about the future, this is a week where you are questioning whether some of the choices that you made or some of the things that you've done were indeed the best choices. You may be working to solve something. Maybe you're avoiding a situation, you need some help, or you want to escape something. You are focused on some kind of dilemma, and you're finding it difficult to relax, to get away from something, to take advice, or to take any offers of affection, whatever is on the table, until you resolve your situation. In some cases, you're going to miss an opportunity. Somebody's going to escape or run away or something. You're going to miss out on something because you've taken something for granted. You've been in denial. You've been so focused on one thing that you missed out on something. Or you refuse to accept that a situation has changed. You don't want what's on offer because for you, you're still stuck in the past. So you may be in denial and running away from something. There's a turn of events that, again, may leave you feeling with a sense of foreboding. You may be restless. You may be pitying yourself because of some choices. Or you may decide to take this King of Cups on his word and on his offer and come up with a new solution to an old problem. You're ready for some new opportunities. You're ready to escape. You're ready to socialize, and you're taking the initiative. Now, the last week you have the Eight of Swords, and so perhaps you are blinding yourself to something. Maybe somebody's stealing something from you right under your nose, and you refuse to accept that truth, or you're holding yourself back. You want to escape, and you feel like you're chained to a circumstance, but really it's a state of mind. So this could be a week where you're holding yourself back from an offer or accepting an offer, or you're dissatisfied with being blocked in some way. You feel trapped or restricted or powerless. Perhaps this is due to an oppressive environment. It could be that you can't come up with any answers. You find yourself in a vicious circle. And that could be because, again, you lack confidence, you are anxious or worried about something, you have some negative feelings that keep you blocked, and you're self-sabotaging. Maybe you're not willing to assert yourself and make that move. Maybe it's because you lack energy, maybe you're ill, maybe you're unhappy, depressed. Whatever it is, you're going to have to overcome some kind of fear and renew the faith in yourself in order to gain power or to restore your productivity. For some of you, you are temporarily blocked. Maybe there's some extra load or some news that comes your way, and now you have to change course. You have to change your schedule, your priorities, your agenda, and you feel bound to something that you didn't have a say in. But you're going to respond to it, and it's likely something that you thought was done with, tied up, resolved, and now it's coming back for you to deal with. And you're frustrated about it, although this is something that's in passing. It could be that you're simply irritated because somebody waited too long, too late. They told you something on short notice. So maybe, somebody didn't follow through. Maybe it was a health issue or a personal matter or a professional situation. And whatever it is, you never saw it coming. You were blindsided. And now you're going to have to put in more effort, more persistence, more perseverance to get something back on track. But this is also a week where you're having to look at, again, where you have been self-sabotaging. Maybe you're a willing prisoner of a situation because you can't get out of your own head or a way of thinking, or you feel very passionate about something. Because remember, the King of Cups is pulling up strong desire for you. So you may be very focused on the here and now, lacking some foresight for tomorrow. And again, you may have to work much harder than you think to keep something from overwhelming you. Some of you, you've decided to hold yourself back. You're seeking some kind of sanctuary. You want to close yourself off because you need to think some things over. You need to tap into your intuition. There's a need for rest or for withdrawal because of circumstances. For others of you, you're trying to jumpstart and re-energize something. So this is a week where solitude is important. Now, for some of you, this is about some kind of small space, a box, literal boxes, post office box, a garage, a cubicle, a small room. Perhaps you're trying to avoid being stifled or blocked, or you're trying to escape a small space, or you're dissatisfied with the room or circumstance. Maybe somebody's stealing boxes or stealing from your garage or stealing information. Now, what's driving everything is this Hermit card. For some of you, this is a strong tie to Virgo. Again, this is a month where you may be getting some kind of spiritual advice, either through counseling with others. It could be a focus on health, on age, your mental and emotional state of mind. You may be taking some time out to rest or to gather your thoughts or to reassess your situation. And this could be a month where you really prefer your own company. You're waiting patiently for something to happen. You're in a mode of preparation. So you may be voluntarily isolating yourself because you don't want to get involved with things that don't have anything to do with you. So it could be a period where you're very asocial. Some of you may be lonely. You may be exiled by choice or because of others. Some of you, it maybe you're focused on teaching something or mentoring or getting that. But you are searching for some kind of answers. And again, you're drawing on your own intuition. You may be getting enlightenment from others. You may be trying to bring something to light, some form of deception, some duplicity, or something that's been hidden may come out into the open. So you are doing some self-examination, some reassessment, and maybe you want to atone for something, or you want somebody to make up to you for something. You're being very deliberate in your actions right now. And this is a karmic time period that's going to help you tie up some loose ends. Something that you maybe have been running away from or trying to avoid. And that process is going to give you some spiritual lessons with new beliefs, new understanding. And it may show up in some surprising ways. And while you're going through this period, you're going to have some spiritual protection so that you can gain awareness. Maybe you're dealing with something that's stressful or crisis-oriented, but know that you are protected. You're meant to learn something from this experience. And part of it is to look at your connection with others, where people may be less than noble or honest. So you're going to have to look at what people, not only what they're saying, but also what they're doing. Do those two things match? You're going to have to be logical. You're going to have to use your common sense and not let your emotions get in the way. This is a period for you to be objective, detached, intellectual, philosophical about your circumstances so that you can be clear-headed and make good choices and decisions that are right for you, that are best for what you're doing. Now, you may have to think about where you've been excessively isolating yourself, where there's been a lack of that human connection, where you've been so absorbed in self that you've missed some opportunities, where you end up being rejected or you're rejecting others. So for some of you, this is about, taking a time out, enjoying yourself, letting loose, having some downtime. Maybe you've been working on something where you needed to withdraw because you were doing some research. Could have been a project, or you're trying to gather information. It could be that you're dissatisfied with something and you're researching some information on coming up with a strategy, how to improve it, avoid it, escape it, or again, bringing something to light. So for some of you, you're going to find yourself in a confrontation of some sort. Maybe there's been some information that has been withheld. Maybe you're not communicating effectively, or you're keeping people at arm's length, or you're working on something and you're waiting for that moment to escape. So you're simply biding your time. For others of you, you're so focused on one thing that there's something going on that you're unaware of. And you may lose touch or lose track in some way. It could be that either you or someone you're connected to is going to go out of their way to create some kind of showdown, the point of which is to learn the merit of true service, being humble, having a true sense of giving without judgment or criticism. So this could be a period where somebody discovers that they don't know quite what they think they do. Now, the crux of the situation is, again, either stealing information or avoiding something. It could be something that occurs at the last minute, something that makes you feel blocked. And in your circumstance, there's a greater possibility of miscommunication, possibly due to some mixed signals. And it's going to take longer for your concerns to resolve to your satisfaction. There's something about, particularly that last week, where there's some additional complications that are going to make your situation more challenging. And there's a lack of motivation. Maybe somebody's lethargic, or they're not taking action. There's a lack of energy to see something through, either because of the lack of will, passion, or apathy. And whatever you're involved in, there's something unstable about it. It could be somebody's impractical, or you're still working out some of the details. There's some dilemma that you're facing, something that's uncertain, and part of the strategy may be to wait or to avoid. It all depends on your level of attachment to something. And it could be running away at the last minute, avoiding something, or something being stolen. And something connected to a partnership, a contract, or an agreement, and what kind of exchange you're getting. You may be dissatisfied with something, or you may be pondering the merits of some kind of offer. But there's not enough strength during this month to make a whole lot happen. And that may be because you're overcoming an illness, or you're solving a problem in a relationship. Maybe you're trying to communicate your emotional needs, or maybe this centers on something creative, discussing the arts. Whatever it is, it can lack grounding. And so this is a month that's very passive, very emotional, but there is still enough reason and logic with this Hermit card to cut through the fog. And that's where your lessons are. Again, this ties to changing your perspective, tying up loose ends, broadening your horizons in some way, and in connection to things that impact your destiny, the people and situations that have influence over your long-range plans. All right, Taurus, I hope you enjoyed this reading. Let me know with your comments, and don't forget to subscribe. You can also support me on Patreon, join me on my blog for daily posts, on Instagram, and over at Vimeo.